begin in 5.
Hello, everyone. Citizens for a Healthy Jessup is proud to bring you the Meet the Candidate interviews with both the Democratic and the Republican candidate for state representative in Pennsylvania's 112th legislative district. I'm Frank Andrews Shimkus, and for the next 30 minutes or so, we will be asking questions focused on the most important issues facing the 112th district and Pennsylvania as a whole in an effort to provide voters with a good understanding of where each man stands on the issues. The evening will begin by giving the candidate 2 minutes to introduce himself, and then we will proceed to the questions for which the candidate will also have 2 minutes to answer. After all the questions have been asked, we will conclude by giving the candidate one last 2-minute period to make a final statement. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the program Kevin Haggerty and invite him to start our interview with his opening statement. Kevin?
Frank, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. As a resident of the 112th District, we appreciate your time. I'd also like to thank Citizens for Healthy Jessup, who also held a debate in the primary, which was very critical to me being here right now. And I'd also like to thank Case Quattro for hosting this evening's event. Frank, I'm a lifelong resident of 112th District. My family grew up in Dunmore. My father was a former educator, coach, and superintendent. My wife is a teacher. You know, our roots are from the coal industry and from the railroad. We believe in those things. Every generation is supposed to do a little bit better than the next, and that's what's taken place in our life and our family. I would like to say hi to my son Kevin as well tonight, whose birthday is tonight, 6 years old. And we'll be having some cake later. And I have a daughter, Giovanna, who's 3. And really, you know, why I'm here is because of them. Being a state representative is not what's important. What's important is being the right state representative and leading people in our school districts, in our communities. We've seen a lot of things happen over the last couple of years, and you know, I'm ready to stand up and make sure I put the people before politics in the 112th District.
Okay, we're going to get right to the questions, and the first question is as follows. Throughout the state, homeowners are continually seeing school taxes go up while school services diminish. What would you do to improve state education funding to ensure that every student can receive a great public education? 2 minutes.
It's the most important issue we have in here. You know, as the representative of the 112th District, we have 4 school districts, Valley View, Mid-Valley, Dunmore, and Scranton, 4 public school districts. So this is a very serious issue, and it's going to be a top priority of mine. I've already signed on to House Bill 76, which is the elimination of property taxes. We have a lot of seniors. We have a lot of people who don't make a lot of money, and their property taxes are killing them, and they're not funding adequately our schools. House Bill 76 would bring in billions of more dollars to our school districts, and we got so close last year in the Senate, only 1 vote shy of passing Senate Bill 76, so it will be a big priority of mine to make sure that these people that I meet every day, like when I'm walking and I'm in a senior citizen's home, and they tell me we paid off our mortgage in 1980, and now there's someone knocking on the door saying, you know, you can't afford this house. They already bought the house. It's theirs. They raised their families there. And now in the golden years, they're going to take their home away because we don't want to make necessary changes. So I'm going to be a pioneer to pass that bill and to see our lives improve and our schools improve.
Okay. Our next question deals with pensions. Both the Pennsylvania House and the Senate are working to reform pension programs for state workers and for public school teachers. Many prefer steering away from the defined benefit plans to a system similar to what is most common in the private sector 401k plans. What is your position on state pension reform, and how do you believe this issue should be handled moving forward?
Well, number one, you know, you can't scare people out there. You know, when you live a life based on something, a promise, your pension, you can't go in there and take away what these people planned on and have saved. But going forward, our educators and some of our state employees, we really have to take a closer look into changing the formulas a little bit, that we pay more in from our own pocket. But it's critical to note, those that have a pension, they save their money, they live their life, and that is promised them, and that will never be taken away. But the new employees, the new teachers, we do have to change the formula, and that's something I'll definitely do when I get in.
Okay, our next question has to do also with fiscal responsibility. The recent sale of the once public-owned Scranton Sewer and Parking Authorities signal a trend in Pennsylvania of privatizing government investments. With the Pennsylvania state liquor store system also being considered for sale, what is your position on this trend, and what do you believe will be the long-term effects of such moves?
Well, in regard to the privatization of liquor, I'm against it. You know, this is my community. I know these people. We have a high unemployment already in Lackawanna County, one of the highest in the state of Pennsylvania. And I can't look at these people and say, you don't have a job anymore, when they've been doing this for 20 years and maybe they're 58 or 59. What are they supposed to do? People need to work until their 70s. It's just something I don't believe in. As far as the gas and sewer as well, you know, a lot of our communities are going to benefit. The city of Scranton is certainly going to benefit from that sale. I'm from Dunmore, and the town of Dunmore is also going to benefit. And these towns are broke. They do need help, just like our school districts. If we don't have an infusion of money, if we don't get serious about taxing the gas industry, looking for more gaming money, if we don't do these things, eliminating property taxes, those are all the things that help the average person. And it seems in Harrisburg, they're more interested in special interest and big business, and that's not why I'm going there.
All right. Our next question deals with an issue that has been and continues to be very important in the 112th District. One of the largest power plants in the nation is currently under construction in Jessup. With another power plant already planned for Archbald and a 50-year landfill expansion under consideration in Dunmore, do you believe there is a limit to how much of this type of development our region can withstand? And would you commit now to standing with citizens to fight for legislative change that would guarantee fair compensation for hosting such industrial development?
Absolutely, I would. And you know, it's unfortunate I wasn't in office. When they redistricted to the 112, I lost my seat. And if I didn't, this would have never happened. You know, we would have been at the forefront. There was a process that we didn't agree with the power plant. We made that public. We stood with Citizens for Healthy Jessup right from the very beginning. But the money that was lost is so critical. And I can't even begin to tell people what $240 million would have meant to our towns over the course of this plant, to our school districts. You just had a pool up in Valley View that can't even open a swimming pool when a multi-billion-dollar company came into our area and didn't give us what we were owed. That is the number one issue right now, is sitting down with these people. The plant is here, but sitting down with these people and negotiating a fair deal. I don't want gifts. I don't want Invenergy to give gifts because we're asking. I want a solid plan that on a yearly basis we're making millions and millions of dollars so that we can support our schools, our roads, our bridges, our police, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, now we're going to shift to healthcare. A recent Scranton Times article credits the Affordable Health Care Act and Pennsylvania Medicaid expansion for a 34% increase in uninsured Pennsylvanians, a net improvement from 9.6% of Pennsylvanians uninsured in 2013 to 6.4% at the end of 2015. Both of these measures, however, have endured strong criticism, and clearly there is still work to do on health care in Pennsylvania. Kevin, what do you see as the most sensible path forward for Pennsylvania to secure long-term health care for everyone?
Well, it is critical. It's everything. It's probably the highest bill any of us have. And you know, we're in government. If I'm the state representative, let's make it clear. We have a much better deal for our health insurance than the ordinary person out there working in the private sector. I've already tried to pass legislation that we should contribute more for our health care. It unfortunately didn't go through, but it's something I would do again. Some of these people are paying double their mortgage for their health care plans. It's just astronomical to ask somebody to pay $1,800 a month for a family plan. And then it still doesn't even cover all of the things and catastrophes. Certain things just don't happen. And I just can't imagine a rich government like ours not controlling this, sitting down, creating legislation to make sure that people could afford their health care, that it's not breaking them. And when you're spending all that kind of money, there's also worry and anxiety, and that goes against the whole principle of good health and good morale in our nation. So I will definitely consider legislation to bring fair premiums to the working class of this state.
Okay, we have two more questions. How would you rate the effectiveness of Keystone Opportunity Zones as job creation tools? And how would you market the 112th District to attract significant family-sustaining jobs?
You know, I think it's time that the Keystone plan ends. I really, truly do. If people are going to come here, and look at Invenergy, for instance. They were coming here. They knew where their land was. We didn't need to promise them that Keystone free tax land. That's not how it works. We need the money in our own community. We could develop, we need to take care of our environment. In Oliphant, Pennsylvania right now, we have a mine fire burning. If that mine fire were put out, and we could do it, and we just recently got money for it, we put that mine fire out, now we build on that land. We bring business in, maybe developments, but it shouldn't be for free. People should come here because it's a quality place with good schools, but it's time that we stop giving away things, and that's what I'll stand up for.
Okay, our final question, and then after that, you'll also have a chance for a closing statement. A former opponent and the Scranton Times have recently questioned several aspects of your history, including your military discharge, a trip to Villanova, and a multitude of missed votes during your last term. Would you take this opportunity tonight to set the record straight on these issues for voters in the 112th District?
I certainly will, Frank, and that's why it's so important that groups like this exist, that we can come out here and debate. You know, I had a former opponent who didn't come to the debate to ask these questions. It's all smear and quiet, and we don't do the negativity in our campaign. We're just too busy doing the positive stuff, the hard work. I'll start, number one, with my voting record. Back in 2013 to 2015, on March 13th, 2013, I'm in my car driving down to Harrisburg, and I get the most beautiful call anyone could ever get. Your daughter's being born. And so I immediately turned around, and my daughter was born on that Monday, and she was born with a little bit of a heart murmur that had to be monitored. So guess what? I'm not going anywhere. And so I was off for those 3 days in session with my family. And, you know, those 3 days was probably 170 votes. The way they try to create this, he missed 200 votes. It seems like I haven't been to Harrisburg in 200 days. It was 3 days. This happened to Congressman Carney, I remember, when his wife was going through breast surgery, and she's a cancer survivor today. And they wrote, you know, these negative commercials about Chris and his wife. Of course our families come first. You're not going to miss the birth of your daughter to be in anywhere. And so we weren't, and we missed some votes, but it wasn't true, the way they crafted it. You know, we're there to vote. We're there to do the right thing. But of course, my family comes first, the birth of my daughter. That was the whole voting stuff. As far as the Marines go, this hurts the most. It truly, truly hurts the most. It's been going on for 6 years. The Scranton Times recently wrote that I have an honorable discharge, but then it's not enough. And they keep coming with these things, and you know, they throw things on the wall to see if they stick. They're not sticking because there's one truth. My character of service in the United States Marine Corps is honorable. And if you look around at all the elected officials from Northeast Pennsylvania, you won't find another one who served their country. And I served in the Marines. That means everything to me. And I'm a big boy now. You know, I can handle it. I understand what they're trying to do. They don't work as hard. They don't understand the issues as much, so what they try to do is get negative and smear, and the people didn't buy it. The people elected us. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and you know, even with the Villanova story, there was no Villanova story. I was running a program out of my office, like I did at Marywood and Kings and Lackawanna College, and we brought these students to Harrisburg. It was a Government in Action Day, and we had meetings in Villanova, we had meetings in Harrisburg, and because something happened to my former opponent, and everybody remembers what it was, they try to then create a scenario where we did something. We, of course, did not, and all of the media denounced it. And so we're going to do that program again. One of the first things we do when we get back in office is we're going to help these young kids learn about government and getting involved. That's what we're supposed to do. So I'm not really interested in the nonsense. If anybody knows me, they know I'm just going to go forward. I'm going to work extremely hard. I'm passionate. Sometimes maybe that passion will get taken for a little bit of pushy or toughness, but we need some of that too. You know, we need tough people down in Harrisburg. I mean, my job is to negotiate for the people of the 112th District. And that's why I'm going there. And I'm proud to be going back. And I understand it's government. I understand the media has a role, but we're really proud of everything we've been doing so far. And again, I just appreciate this night.
Okay, and we thank you for answering the questions. 2 minutes for a closing statement.
Okay. Again, Frank, thank you for being here, and Case Quattro for having this, and the Citizens for Healthy Jessup. Again, let me say, if you guys didn't hold a primary debate, I might not be here. That's how critical it was. That's how critical it was to show the people of the 112 that we're willing to stand up and talk and answer questions under any circumstances, and we've done that. I'm humbled. I mean, you have to understand, at one point, me and my wife, we were done. We sat down and decided I was done in politics, and it was hard. You know, something that you're passionate about, and you understand, and you were involved. And we made a conscious decision that I was done. I helped my wife start a small business, which she's doing extremely well at. But she started to see something inside of me that was kind of burning out. And first of all, nothing's more important than my family and all of our families. Public service is an important professional passion. Comes second to my kids and my wife. But when my wife came up to me, I think it was the summer of last year, and said, "Why don't you think about running again?" I kind of said, "Honey, we decided no." And so we let it go. A few weeks later, she came up and she said, "I really want you to do this because this is what you should be doing." And it really lit my whole life up, that I was going to get this opportunity again. And you don't know if you're going to win, and we certainly win against a huge machine. We didn't have very much money. I always joke with Randy Castellani, who was basically running the campaign. We didn't even have a printer. I had a pen and some paper, and we wrote notes, and it worked. And people appreciate it because they see the tenacity and hard work. So to have a second chance to come back, they say you don't understand something until you lose it. Well, I understand more than anybody right now, and I'm deeply humbled. I'm proud of my wife for allowing me to do this. It's hard. She works 2 jobs. We have 2 children, and this is a sacrifice. It truly is. It's one I'm prepared for. It's one I'm never going to forget, that I got the opportunity. And I just wanted to say, also to my mother and all grandparents out there, thank you for what you do for our kids, because we can't, it's so busy life right now, and we need our grandparents to be helping with the children, and it does take a village. It does take a village to raise a community. And I'm just proud to have this chance to run again and to serve the people of the 112th District. When I hit that floor, you're the ones I'm thinking about. So thank you.
And that concludes our interview with Kevin Haggerty, the candidate for the state representative in the Pennsylvania 112th Legislative District. Citizens for a Healthy Jessup would like to thank both of the candidates for participating tonight and for their continued support of the organization. We hope that through the interview, you, the voter, have gained some insight into where each candidate stands on the issues facing our area, and that this will help you make your decision when you go to the polls. I'm Frank Andrews Shimkus, thanking everyone for watching and reminding you to get out and vote on November 8th, 2016. Thank you.